You know, we have always had strong governors in Virginia, and governors who have led in challenging time, and time again, our governor has shown that he is definitely up to the task, and we're delighted to have him here with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big Virginia welcome to Virginia's 71st Governor, Robert F. McDonnell.
Thank you. Thank you, and good morning. Thank you, people of faith, for coming from every corner of Virginia to stand here on the steps of Mr. Jefferson's Capitol for this great day of prayer and to begin something powerful here in Richmond, and that is this formation of a Virginia Prayer Caucus. It's only appropriate that we stand here on a Capitol designed by Thomas Jefferson himself, using our incredible First Amendment rights as enshrined in the Constitution by Thomas Jefferson himself. So many of the great traditions of liberty were permanently placed in those founding documents by our Virginia founders, and we're incredibly blessed to live and work and now pray in a state with so many men and women of faith that gave birth to, I believe, the greatest nation in the history of the world, in the United States of America. I want to thank all the leaders that are here today to show their support for these traditions that have been alive and well in this Commonwealth now for 235 years since Mr. Jefferson wrote those powerful words in 1776. The Lieutenant Governor, the Attorney General, I want to thank Delegate John Cosgrove and Senator Jeff McWaters for their strong leadership in putting a Virginia General Assembly Prayer Caucus together. There are many, many caucuses up here, perhaps none that will be more important or more influential or more consequential than this prayer caucus that's being formed today. I want to also salute the incredibly great work of Congressman Randy Forbes and Congressman Mike McIntyre, who's here with us today, of North Carolina, and Shirley Forbes representing Randy today. Their vision and their leadership in forming this prayer caucus in the United States Congress has just been tremendous. That we know now that there are men and women in the Congress of faith getting together every week on a regular basis on their knees praying for this nation. So despite the tough things that you hear about what's going on in America, people are praying for this country in the Capitol. For most of the years that I've been in public service, I've had one major picture that stands and hangs behind my desk. And it's a picture of George Washington at Valley Forge. He is, I think, the great president, the role model of presidents, the father of the country, the general whose courage and leadership got that ragtag band of colonists to fight for what they believed in, those principles of liberty and faith, and beat the most powerful nation on earth. But it is a reminder that this was a nation that truly began on its knees in Valley Forge. And but for Washington's faith and the faith of those men in uniform around him, we might not be the nation that we are today. We also remember from the book of Romans, chapter 13, that the civil rulers, that's all of us that are here today behind you, the civil rulers are ministers to do you good. That's what Paul said the purpose of civil government was. Punish the evildoer, but to be ministers to do good in our society, something we should always remember. The power of prayer is something that we should celebrate. Jesus said many times in the scriptures and in his public ministry in his 3 years that you should ask, seek, and knock that the doors may be open. And if you ask anything where 2 or 3 are gathered, I will hear from heaven, I will answer those prayers, and that your petitions will be answered many times over. In fact, your cup will be runneth over with the blessings that you get from prayer. We should always remember how much that is true in our everyday lives, whether it's in your ministries that you do in your communities, or whether it's serving in a privileged office here in Richmond. In fact, George Washington said some things very powerful about prayer and about our reliance upon Scripture. He said that it's not difficult to govern without prayer in the Bible. He in fact said it is impossible to govern without God and the Bible. That's the father of our country. We should remember those words. And in fact, in his first inaugural address, he said some things that I think he expected to be echoed throughout the ages. And that is that the propitious smiles of heaven can never be expected to remain on a nation that disregards the eternal rules of order and right, which heaven itself has ordained. Washington was right. Values do matter. Character does count. Faith is important to be able to guide the nation even today. Lieutenant Governor read from the early part of the Declaration. We forget sometimes the last couple sentences of the Declaration, where after laying out the petitions and the egregious errors of the King of England, Jefferson concluded with the words that said, "And for the rectitude of these intentions, we submit these petitions to the supreme judge of the universe, God. And with a firm reliance on divine providence, we mutually pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." They did believe in divine providence, that God does intervene in the affairs of men as he does today. And so I thank all of you for coming for this really monumental day here in Virginia, where we do what these leaders in Congress have been doing now for several years under the leadership of Virginian Randy Forbes. And I thank these leaders behind us, Delegate Cosgrove, and what's going to happen here as leaders from across the state will be on their knees praying for the continued blessings of God on the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you for coming.